everyone, this is Heather. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I've got a card tutorial for you and we're going to be making this cute little Gnome Valentine's Day card. I'm going to be using the adorable Gnome Matter What stamp set from Heffy Doodle along with its coordinating dies. I'm also using 2 heart-shaped dies from Stampin Up from their Be Mine Stitched Framelit dies. And from the Winter Walk set from Hello Bluebird, I'm going to be using the frame. I wanted to make this a slimline card, so my cardstock base is a pink piece of cardstock. It's 8.5 by 7 and it's been scored at the 3.5 mark. From the Hello Bluebird die, I've taken some darker pink cardstock and just cut out the frame. I've got a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock for stamping and embossing. And then I went through my paper stash to find 3 different pattern papers that I thought went well together. I've got a pale pink plaid, a kind of darker pink check, and a floral that has both those pinks with a little bit of green and yellow in it. The scalloped heart die from Stampin' Up is really cool because it will cut out the solid heart from the center and also the scalloped frame that goes around it. So from each of my pattern papers, I cut out 1 of each of these hearts. This die cuts out a solid heart with a scallop around it and a little bit of a stitching detail, and I also cut this each 1 time from my 3 pattern papers. I've placed my Bristol Smooth cardstock in my stamp positioner and put the stamps where I would like them. I'm using my static tool to apply some powder to the paper. I'm stamping up my stamps with Versamark clear ink. I've stamped it a couple of times to get a good impression. I'm using black embossing powder to pour over my ink. I've poured that into my tray and tapped off the excess. And now I'm going to heat this with my heat gun. So I've embossed my images and I used all 3 of the cute little gnomes, the watering can with the heart, and 2 of the flowers. I wanted my coloring to be really simple and soft since these are pretty small images, so I decided to color them with chalks. You can apply chalks with lots of different things. You can use your fingers, you can use a Q-tip, an eyeshadow applicator, or I really like using a blender pen. This will help pick up the color, make it easier to spread around, and it also helps set the chalks so they don't rub off. My favorite blending pen is the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pen. This is basically like their Clean Color Real Brush markers, except there's no color in it, it's just a clear marker. I chose chalk colors that went along with the pattern papers that I picked, and I'm just going to pick up some of the color directly from the chalk and apply it to my stamped image. I really like using Bristol Smooth cardstock for this because it makes it really easy to smooth out the color and blend. You could also use watercolor paper, but a lot of regular colored cardstocks soak up the color too much and make it a little bit harder to spread. Using the same pale green that I used on the hat, on the elf on the right, on this elf on the left, I'm coloring in his little jacket. I have a piece of paper towel and I'm just going to rub the tip of the marker on the paper towel until it comes clean. It may stain the tip of your marker, but as long as the color's coming out clear, then you're good to move on to the next color. For the faces, ears, and hands of my elves, I'm using a really soft peach color. Another reason I really like this marker is because it's got a really fine tip so you can get into those really small little areas. I've cleaned off my marker and I'm going into a soft gray color. Going to apply that to the beard on both of the boy gnomes and the hair of the girl gnome. I've picked up a little bit of black chalk to color in their boots. And I almost forgot to color in the watering can, and I'm using that same gray again. Next, I'm dipping into a yellow, and I'm going to do the girl gnome's hat and her apron. And each of the gnomes has a little pair of pants, so I'm going to color all those in yellow. In this set of chalks that I have, there's kind of an orangey peach color. I'm going to lay that down as the base coat. It wasn't exactly as dark as I would like. So after I laid that down, I went in and picked up just a little bit of this darker red to apply over top and mixed those colors in. And then I was really happy with the tone of that. So it's really easy to mix your colors to get them a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. So I've done the hat on the left gnome with that color combination. I'm also doing the dress on the girl gnome and the jacket on the other one. And then finally, I'm going to do the top of each of the flowers and the little heart on the watering can in that same red-pink mixture. So here are my gnomes. I've finished coloring them in. I think they're really cute. It's a really soft, pretty way to add some quick color to your stamped images. I also wanted to point out that you can use a chalk eraser if you get any outside of the lines, and that'll help clean up your images. So I'm ready to die cut my images. So I'm going to use some repositionable tape and tape those in place and run that through my die cutting machine. Next, I've got my cardstock base, and I've measured with a ruler and taken a pencil and made a little tick mark at the center of my card just for an easier placement of the hearts. I'm using a zig glue pen around the frame that I die cut. I'm going to apply some glue to that, and then I'm going to line that up along the edge of my card and press that down really well. So with these die cut hearts, I've switched the frames around. I've got the darker pink check with the pink plaid, with the floral, and the floral frame with the dark pink check. I'm going to start off placing the floral heart in the center. I've got that little check mark, just kind of gives me an idea of where the center is to place that heart. I'm going back to the glue pen to apply some glue to the back of the frame. And then I'm going to line that up and place it over the heart. Next, I'm going to center the other heart to the right. I've put glue pen on the back of that frame, and I'm going to place that around the heart as well. And I've done the same on the remaining heart. I've got my stamp positioner back out, and I've placed the top of the sentiment in the upper left-hand corner of the card. I'm going to pick that up, and then I'm going to ink that up with lovely lipstick ink from Stampin' Up. And stamp that out. I've removed that sentiment and flipped my card around and placed the other sentiment so it'll stamp in the lower right-hand corner. I'm going to pick that up and stamp that out. And now I'm ready to assemble my card. I've placed foam tape on the back of all of my stamped images as well as the smaller die cut hearts. I'm going to place this little guy on the left. I'm going to center the little girl gnome in the middle of the center heart. Place this other guy off to the right. I place the watering can in the little girl gnome's hand, one of the flowers in one of the gnome's hands, and the other guy gets this one. Then I'm also going to just place these other little hearts around to kind of fill in some of that white space. And here's our finished card. I think this would be really sweet to send to either a guy or a girl for Valentine's Day. I love this long slimline style. It gives you so much room to work and play. And I think these gnomes are absolutely adorable. I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to check out my channel and subscribe. And I hope you have a very happy Valentine's Day. Bye!